Hi, welcome to Inside the Moms Club, where being a mom is the coolest place to be. Here in the Moms Club, we believe that what embarrasses you now will make a great story later. And let's face it, if you don't laugh sometimes, you're gonna cry. Join us in having a good laugh together. I'm Monica Samuels. You are now inside the Moms Club, your private destination for all things. Welcome, moms. Glad you could join us today. And I am Monica Samuels. I am here with my co-host, Leslie Harrell.
Hello.
We're very excited. We're going to have a really fun show.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it because last time I saw Leslie, it's been summer, so we've all been in different places. But she was kind enough to invite me to Santa Fe. We had a really great time. And she learned about my love of hats. Yes. And I bought a bunch, so many I couldn't take them all home. So she was nice enough. Hats. I bought 5 hats. Yes, I did. You'd think I would wear them more, but then I don't want to ruin my hair, which is kind of, I know, it makes no sense. But yeah, I've been struggling with that for years. So, but I bought some great hats, and you were nice enough to bring them home. Yes. And I have to say that her dog Blitzen has really good taste because he ate one of them. Yeah. But that's fine. That is totally fine.
Well, okay, let's just back that up just a little bit because so my daughter was moving into her college apartment, and so the car was loaded. We had recently put our older dog down right before we had gone to Santa Fe, and so we had just come back 3 days, and our dog just didn't quite realize that we weren't all abandoning him, and he didn't have another dog at home. So not only did he shred one of Monica's hats, which he usually doesn't eat anything but food, but he shredded the hat, but he also shredded my back door. Like the trim, the door, ate the handle. It's a metal handle. I'm like, how does a dog do that? Anyway, so there's teeth marks. So basically, I think he's recovered. So I think now I can safely go and repair the door.
Well, good.
And move on. But your hat was beyond repair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it was he has good taste, like I said. It was a navy one, so I was excited because it's hard to find a navy hat. But obviously, it was so popular. He had such good taste. Yeah. That you can't replace it. But
and
that's fine.
I've looked. I've called, and I've looked
I know,
online.
that's
and
fine.
So the hat, unfortunately, had its demise. But I will keep an eye out for it.
That's fine, because you know what my dog did? Luca, he ate much of the carpet in one of our rooms. But he only ate the carpet. He ate a step on a stair. And I'm not just saying the carpet on there. He ate the wood, the insulation. My son was supposed to be watching him. And he said he could see he was doing something, but wasn't sure what until, I guess, the stair was gone. So,
he's not here. It's like... Well, I had a dog. We always talk about dogs because we all have great dogs. But my dog, the one that we just put down, when she was a puppy... one day I was making a frozen pizza. And so I turned the oven on, and my son was 6. And we turned the oven on, and I was out working on something. I said, Marshall, when you hear the oven ding, put the frozen pizza in the oven. Well, the pizza's frozen. So if it hits the ground, it's going to make a sound. Well, I come back in to see that because I was like, the pizza should be done. And I go in there, and the pizza's gone. It's gone. And I'm like, it's not in the oven. I was like, Marshall, I'm like, did you put the pizza in the oven? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I told you to put the pizza in the oven. And it turned out that dog had taken that pizza, frozen, off the counter, onto the ground. And I'm like, how in the world did you not hear the frozen pizza clang on the tile? But that's dogs.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And it's all fine.
These are the things that make you want to drink.
Because there are worse things that could happen. Exactly. Exactly.
That's one of those, the drinking, everyone says, I need a drink, or this has been a long week, I got to get a drink.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, you think, it doesn't have to actually be an alcoholic drink. It's just the phrase to say, I've had enough. Even if you don't want to have, even you may just want the feel of having a drink, but you didn't actually have to have an alcoholic beverage. Sometimes they're good.
Well, and what helps is when you're with your friends, because let's see, when the pandemic started, whenever that went, a long time ago, we all initially got together and we had margaritas all day.
Yeah, early on. we went to her house and we all sat by the pool and had margaritas
Yeah.
at a distance. We were 6 feet.
Yeah, we were 6 feet apart,
outside,
floating in the pool, drinking margarita.
Yeah.
But it was the camaraderie.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily that we had to, be drinking margaritas.
They were good though.
Well, they were good. You made them.
The social aspect, the social aspect of it is really kind of the fun part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You get down to it. And then like, who didn't have a Zoom cocktail hour with friends? I mean, we were all doing like any excuse to get together, and we would all talk about like what beverage we made and like what we were all having, wine, beer.
I have to say that was one of the things that started in the pandemic that quickly just went away. The happy hours and the cocktail. Because Zooming, I mean, you're still drinking by yourself, So that's well, I think you've and today happens to be a Thursday, or when we're
I call
talking
it Thirsty
today.
Thursday.
So we're gonna have a Thirsty Thursday later on today, and all of our friends, and so that'll be good. Well, as luck would have it, very excited because today we have with us Joanne Reynolds, and she is the CEO and founder of Sexy Alcohol-Free Spirits. And Joanne will tell us more about it, but basically she decided that it would be great to have a non-alcoholic beverage line that moms could enjoy, that if you're trying to lose a little weight and you don't want to be drinking alcohol, or if you're pregnant, or if for religious reasons you don't drink alcohol, you can still have a beverage in your hand, enjoy it with your friends, and have a really great time together. And her goal in creating her line was to make drinks that are 100% alcohol-free, 100% sugar-free, vegan, gluten-free, allergen-free, global plant-based, certified, low-carb, low-calorie, and that would taste delicious.
That's a lot. That's a tall order.
Yeah, that's ambitious, and we are so excited because we believe that she has succeeded in all that, and she is the mom of 2 daughters. So we are so excited to have her. Welcome, Joanne, to the Moms Club.
Thank you so much, ladies, for having me on today. I'm so excited. And yes, Thirsty Thursday, it's a thing. But with alcohol-free cocktails, we are drinking every day.
Yeah.
And
don't limit it.
Don't limit it. There's always a good reason to celebrate. And yes, to your point exactly, with the pandemic, the pandemic hit, we all thought it was great to sit around all day and, drink cocktails and alcohol. And soon afterwards, we realized that we actually still had to adult. We still had to make sure our kids were dressed. We still had to make sure dinner was on the table, zooming in for work calls. We couldn't really be slurring our words, etc. So the fun factor lasted as much as we could push it. Yeah, and parenting. But so to your point, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so funny enough, I did launch Sexy AF the same week that COVID did hit, which just adds to the dynamic of, a lot of the ups and downs that it takes as an entrepreneur to get your product off the ground and into the world and be known and drank and enjoyed. But I'm really excited to be here today to share my story and, to share Sexy AF spirits with your audience.
So how did we told a little bit about what made you create this, but can you elaborate a little bit on how you came about? Because it's one thing to have the idea, but it's another thing to execute it. So can you just share with us what the story is behind that?
Absolutely, Monica. So I'm originally from South Africa, but I live here in Calgary, Alberta, and I do have a lot of girlfriends in California. And it was around Mother's Day a couple of years ago, and I went to California for the long weekend, and we go out for drinks and dinners and lunches and shopping and you name it. And every time we were doing that, going out for lunches and dinners, I'd order this fabulous cocktail and it looked amazing. And I know that some of my girlfriends don't drink, whether it's, I have some Mormon girlfriends, one girlfriend was trying to get pregnant. Another girlfriend was practicing for a marathon, like super healthy. And so every time we would sit down at a restaurant or at a bar, I'd be like, oh, I want this cocktail. And they would say, oh, sorry, what can you make me that doesn't have alcohol? And they'll be like, Shirley Temple. And then we're like, well, we're not 5. I don't want anything sugary. Or the barman would say, I can make you anything you want. And they're like, I don't know what I want because I don't drink. And it was just like this weirdness the whole time of like, I don't want tea, I don't want coffee, I'm tired of drinking water all day. Like, it was just kind of like a dull moment.
And there's a festive feel. It's like, it's not even like the tea and all that. It's like if you're with your friends, like a lot of times drinking, for better or for worse, is a festive. It's a mood. It's a vibe that you create. So yeah,
It
it's kind of
really
like
is, Leslie. Yeah, it really is. And to that point, it's the inclusion factor. It's making everyone feel socially accepted and socially part of the cool group and all that. And I didn't get that feeling at all. And it really struck me to the point that I came back home and I said to my husband, I said, you know what? I said, selfishly, it was a great time, but I don't think my girlfriends had a good time because of this reason. I really want to create a product that, to your point, Monica, tastes amazing, low calorie, zero sugar, super healthy, but amazing and classy and all these things. And I had this huge long wish list. And he goes, well, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, honey, run with it. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this. So I did spend about 2 or 3 years in R&D researching the industry, seeing what's out there. The UK was many years ahead of us at this point. So I saw an opportunity for us in North America to create this product. And, lo and behold, I was asking my friends and family, being like, would you drink this? As an option, would you go out? Would you drink this? Would you? And they were like, yes, 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 yes. Like, finally, finally, finally. So the concept was there. The idea was there. And it did take a long time, probably about 36 batches of trial and error, trying different products and doing different tastings. And my poor husband was the taste tester. And the one time he said, oh my God, Joe, he's like, I don't think I can ever taste again. What the hell was that?
Hey, supportive husbands are a key when you're venturing off, I think. I mean,
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
like, you're
I've
my
had
taste
that.
tester.
Yeah, you're everything.
So
Like, I started a business too, and if your husband's, if you're not in it together, whether it's taste testing or whatever, financial, whatever it is, it certainly makes a big difference in the success of anything. I mean, to be in it with your husband and to be able to do that and make him a guinea pig.
So you actually created the mixes yourself. Is that
absolutely? So I had all the flavors that I thought I wanted. So a lot of the names, and we can talk about the names, they are a play on the actual alcohol. But I did do some work with a few mixologists just to get their opinions on the different flavors and what's popular and what's not. So I made sure I did my homework in that regard, not just to start off with making a vodka, which is odorless, colorless, tasteless. It's really nothing. That I really wanted to create a really strong product, and that's why the products are extremely strong for creating different cocktails and forming the flavor-based profile for any cocktail. So essentially, it was for the bar and restaurant.
Something else, like a tonic,
absolutely,
or a whatever, like a flavored water or something like that. So
as you would
like mixes.
Right, Leslie, as you would like a gin and tonic, you would use our virgin and tonic. So,
I think we should real quick say the names.
The names are very clever.
Okay,
Leslie, if you
and
share.
let me know if I'm missing one. But one is virgin.
Yeah.
One is triple sexy.
Yeah.
One is frisky whiskey, which personally is my favorite and will be my Thirsty Thursday drink for the day. Aperitifs, spicy yum, and how do you say the last one? Amaro. Amaro. Okay, so yeah, because it had a dash in there, so I was like, wasn't exactly sure. So is that all of them? All your flavor selections?
Yes, that's all of them. All 6. Yes.
So that's awesome because that's and then you have a 16-year-old. So to kind of go with the parenting theme, you have a 16-year-old. So we've all had. I have a 16-year-old, and we all have kids that are kind of 16 and up, and so. You're definitely getting into that time where your kids are trying to experiment with drinking and like giving the vibe. I mean, how often do you, I don't know, I mean, this may or may not be appropriate. How often do you try to like encourage, like have parties with your kids where it's like alcohol free? Because, now you're kind of trying to be cool, but like not really serve your kids alcohol.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because my 16-year-old daughter, I said, well, would you and your friends drink this? They're like, yeah, it tastes good. Like, sure. I don't know. Like, I think they dabble in it, but now they're very much more excited about CBD products like edibles and, a whole different world compared to when we were growing up where, for me personally, I was allowed to have some drinks or a sip here and there at an adult birthday party. But times have changed where I think they're much more conscious about what they're putting into their bodies, and they do want to experiment, but not too much that they they don't have control over their mind or what I think they want to be more present just because everything's on social media. So you don't want to look silly or you don't want to look stupid on social media, which we didn't have back then growing up. Like no one knew what we were up to back in our day,
stupid,
which was
you were
great.
doing it all by yourself.
Yeah, you were on your own.
And you hope they're more aware of that sort of thing. I know, I mean, they still sneak into the liquor cabinet. I mean, that's still a thing. So what I was suggesting is that you buy one of these, the Virgin, and stick it in a gin bottle and make the kids think that if they're sneaking into it, that's what they've just got hold of.
They got to shake
it. But the kids are getting smarter about, I think, there's a way to go, but they're getting a little bit better, because I know my son was sharing with my husband that he's very aware, and he's, a big, strong boy, about friends sneaking things into drinks, into giving them things that, pills or things that.
Oh yeah, that's common in the college.
Yeah,
so I think it's in the high school scene.
It always has been, but I mean that's so they're.
Well, and I think the thing about these too that's really cool is like I'm a 50-year-old woman. And like many 50-year-old women, you kind of put on some pounds, and everybody's doing their thing to try to lose weight. So it falls into what Joanne did it for, is I do Weight Watchers. So everything's point based. So like if I want to go out and have a drink, I'm going out and getting like a skinny margarita because it's actual juices and it's not the high sugar. And so, but I'm someone like, I don't drink beer and I don't drink wine. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy beer and wine. So it's always a mixed beverage for me. So that makes this kind of stuff like, oh, that's really cool, because it is kind of, the sugar-free aspect when you're like me and you're just trying to not gain a bunch of weight, that also is a factor. And you said you can actually mix these with, they're not everything, but there are some people, like you said, it's sort of like a Coke that you're kind of you mix with however you want.
Absolutely. Like same as you, Leslie, I don't drink beer at all. Never have, never will. I do love my glass of wine. And I do like cocktails as well, but yes, absolutely. We do have customers, and I have girlfriends that do use 6CAF spirits with alcohol as well. So it's not as if we're anti-alcohol. That's not the case at all. I give the example of when you buy Coke, if you make a Coke float, if you mix it with anything else, the sky's the limit with what you can do with it. In terms of people putting CBD drops of oil in, that's totally cool too. They make slushies, they make all sorts of different drinks with them. But we do have people that do mix alcohol with our product to lower the calorie intake, to lower the sweetness. If they're sober curious, or they're mindful drinking, or they're just a different stage in their life where they want to have a drink, but they want to have maybe a bridge drink, and they don't want to have too much alcohol, in their lifestyle, whether it's, Weight Watchers, or if you're diabetic and you can't have a lot of sugar as well. We have a lot of diabetics that drink sexy. It really is just opening up a different world to being like, yes, there is more out there besides your tea and your coffee and your water. Like, let's make it fun. And
I think you have recipes on your site too, as well, don't you?
We do. We have a recipe book. It's a digital download. It has over 176 pages that are full of different types of recipes. And on our website, there's also just one pages, like super simple recipes, like virgin and tonic, spiced yum and Coke, etc. So it really is just, we want to help educate the consumer as much as possible with regards to what do you do with this product? It looks amazing. It's too strong to drink neat. So what do you do with it? And it's just walking them through that, use the ingredients that you have in your fridge, or fresh produce for garnishes, etc. And you can really have a fun time and get super creative with any of the products.
And this is super fun. Okay, so we're hosting a couple shower. It's a tailgate themed couple shower in a couple weeks. And I went to this cooking class and I learned how to make, they were cocktail cupcakes. And so they have, like one of them's like there's a margarita one, a pina colada one, a Jack and Coke one, and then I can't think of Kahlua one maybe. So like these types of things too, you could figure out how to integrate into that whole cocktail cupcake thing. So I may be experimenting with that before my shower, because I said I would make those cocktail cupcakes. So hey, well, maybe I'll figure that one out.
We'll see. Make sure
I'll do the whiskey frisky. It's going to be a whiskey frisky cupcake. That's what I'm going to do.
What is also nice, as I saw on your website, so for restaurants and bars, it's nice, like when you were describing what what prompted you to do this, and your friends are like, can you make something for me without alcohol? That takes longer to, I need a virgin drink or whatever. But
Yeah.
you suggest that you go and you order yours sexy AF, and the bartender should know that's what that means. And that sounds cool. That sounds better than, please give me a virgin drink.
So how's the trend going in the restaurant industry? Like, how can you get it? Do you go to like your local liquor store to get it? I mean, it's not alcoholic, but that's probably the best place to market it, I would think. But yet, like, or is it all online, and is it showing up in bars? Can people really go into Chili's and say, hey, I want a sexy AF?
Well, hopefully in Chile soon. That's definitely the way to go for us, and that's what we're working on every day in and out. Here locally in Calgary, you can go to bars and restaurants and ask for your cocktail sexy AF. We do have a lot of bars and restaurants that do carry our product, which is great right here in our backyard. But we are, working 24/7 around the clock to get into different chains in the US, which would obviously be amazing. But the trend is picking up, and the more bars and restaurants we speak to, and not even that, there's a few medi spas. So when you do go for Botox or facials, they offer you a sexy alcohol-free cocktail because A, you're driving, B, you don't want to consume alcohol when you're getting injectables, etc. It messes with your blood. It really is. It's becoming the norm, but the more people that speak about it, the more people that share that they want, and let other people know, let the stores know, let your grocers know that it's out there, then that comes back to us in the end, and we can support the customers and get that product to them because it really is becoming a trend. The reason being, you don't need a license to serve it. So you don't need any kind of pro serve. You don't need a license to pour it. You don't need a license to have it in your convenience store or at your spa, or we have a barber
I think
shop.
A great one would be, because this happened to me. So like my husband loves beer, and like the brewery scene, we were just in Santa Fe for a month. So the brewery scene is great. But it's frustrating for me not being a beer drinker is every time you go to these breweries, they have loads and loads of beer, and usually I'm a huge iced tea fanatic, but like usually the iced tea is not good, just to be a snob about it. But like, like this is a trend where like to get this in the beer brewery things where people who are going with their friends, because like, I mean, I don't care if my husband wants to go to a brewery, and obviously it's more fun to go and do the little sampler things. But like, I always find myself stuck in these situations where I'm at a brew pub type thing and they don't have anything. Like they're either beer or wine, and when you don't drink either one of those, you're sunk. And like, I don't even care that I'm having alcohol, but it's like I'm literally sitting there drinking water.
I also like the idea of the spa, or I go to my nail salon and they offer you something, and there's some women there that have had their mani-pedi and they've been there all day, and you see them weaving out of the drive. Yeah, it's like. The other 2 weeks ago, I went and had my nails done, and it was 9 a.m. and she offered me, would you like a cocktail? Would you like a
You're like,
no. Well, how does that look if I drink that? I mean, well, we Leslie and I are the lucky ones who are going to try. The only cup I had, I couldn't find my highball glasses this morning, but I have a cup that says wine.
Now, do you have to mix this with something?
A book club.
You do. It's very, very strong. So if you have anything to mix it with, if you want to try one neat, try the triple sexy, because that's a sweet one that people do love.
Triple sexy. We're gonna drink it neat, and then
just a little sip.
Yeah. While Leslie's shaking and pouring.
Well, you know what I was going to say real quick, that I think there's a trend. If I remember right, I read in the Austin paper that there's a trend of non-alcoholic bars starting in Austin. It seems like that's something that's happening. That's cool. So we're just going to take little sips.
Yeah, leave some for me, Leslie. No. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Nice pour there. Very good. Cheers. Cheers. All right. All right. It's Thirsty Thursday. Yeah, here we go.
Oh my gosh, that's really good.
That's really good.
And it's because like usually sugar-free stuff can taste really tingy, and it doesn't. It tastes. I mean, it tastes completely like it would have sugar in it. So yeah. So our Zoomer people are really jealous because we're doing this, and
they're like this.
Well, so on the mom scene. So real quick, we got to wrap it up because we got to go to the Zoomers. But one question, real quick, before we go to the Zoomers. So like, how's it been trying to manage this business with your children? Like, I mean, just like manage being a mom and children, and then we got to switch over to the Zoomers. But that's a quick question that I had for you.
No, and that's a great question. Thank you so much. You know what? It takes a team, and I have a really supportive, like you said earlier, a really supportive husband, Vanessa, my 16-year-old, actually, works part-time with me to help me at Sexy over the summer holidays. She's been working and helping labeling, etc. My 9-year-old, she loves to come up with ideas about how she wants to make a lemonade stand and serve Sexy. And everyone's so supportive and sweet and kind and very helpful when it comes to, the household stuff and dinners. And because sometimes I'll forget to take out dinner, or I don't know what we're having for breakfast, or but the support network that I have from my little family is so amazing, and I couldn't be more blessed to have them. It is a struggle. Every day is you never know what's going to get thrown at you, or your schedule's out of whack. And to have the support that I do have with my husband and my 2 girls, I'm very, very fortunate. So it does, sometimes it does drive me to drink, but I pick up the Sexy instead.
There you go.
I think
you still get the vibe.
You know what else I think is really great is that you have 2 daughters, and that they can see your example of coming up with a business idea and carrying it through, and they're part of it. And I mean, what a great example right in front of them as to what's possible. And I just think that's awesome.
You can do it midstream with parent. I mean, you already had kids. Like, you didn't start this before.
You didn't have to quit work.
And I did that. I started my business midstream, and so it's very similar. Yeah. Well, I think we have to bring the Zoomers in.
Well,
now,
we do.
So
the Zoomers. So we are thrilled to have our Zoomers join us. Welcome, Zoomers. So Zoomer Mom, so glad that you could join us today. We are here with Joanne. And Joanne, I'll introduce all the Zoomers. Let's go around. We have Jennifer Marsh, who is the mother of 2, a son and a daughter. Julie Orchid, who has 2 lovely daughters. And Helen Savage, who has a sweet little daughter, Olivia, who just started 5th grade. Is that right? 5th grade.
Yes.
This week. So welcome, Zoomers. And we're here with Joanne, and just to see if anybody has any questions. Jennifer, do you have anything you want to ask Joanne?
I do. So I love your idea. I think the branding is incredible. And with drinks, my husband is actually Austin is sort of famous for alcoholic branding, but also branding around non-alcoholic drinks. And so I just think you've got the branding. So the Sexy AF is so smart, and I love the logo and everything. And I think it would be amazing to see this in all the places. And order something Sexy AF, because, I think the cocktail culture is back, as especially around COVID. Everyone's drinking so much, more than they normally do anyway. So I was just wondering, if you wanted to order this, you go to your website and you get, you can order in small batches. Is that still acceptable if it's just a consumer ordering it, or is it more of a you're trying to get bigger orders through distributors or restaurants?
Well, lovely to meet you, Jennifer, and great question. So just to go one step back, when originally the product is for bars and restaurants directly, that's first and foremost. However, when COVID hit, I did throw up the website, so it is for direct to consumer. Okay. So you can go on the website and order just 1 bottle, or we have a sober bartender set, which is the 375 mils of 1 of each flavor, in addition to downloading the digital recipe book. So it is heavily consumer based, primarily for if you just want a bottle. Wholesale and distribution, that's a whole different website, a whole different conversation. It's a whole different world that I'm dealing with. But to your point, cocktail culture is back, and I am aware of some of the bars and restaurants in Austin that are starting to serve non-alcoholic and alcohol-free products, which is just amazing. But to your point, to go into a restaurant and ask for your cocktail Sexy AF, your cocktail's going to look exactly the same as your girlfriend's. It's going to come in the same glass as your girlfriend's. There isn't going to be a red flashing arrow saying, why aren't you drinking alcohol? And you're just going to have a fabulous time, because you know what? Or because you're not drinking alcohol doesn't mean you're boring AF. And that's what we like to say as well. You know what? We can have fun. We can have an amazing time, and we can be sexy AF while doing it too.
Yeah, because I don't really want to wait for the Austin scene to catch up. I want to be able to serve this like right away to my daughter who's underage. Even like teaching my son sort of how to be responsible around drinking, and having something to mix where he can kind of enjoy the culture around it and understand it's not really the alcohol that makes it fun. It's just the ritual that makes it fun.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words.
Well, I can't wait to see it in Austin.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Helen, do you have any questions for Joanne?
I actually do have a question, Joanne. So my daughter's 10, and as Monica said, she just started 5th grade, and I can't wait to try your products because I too have a number of friends who don't drink, and it'd be nice to have an alternative for them. But so my 10-year-old came home so excited yesterday because she now has economy class. And she says that's her new favorite class because she created a job application for 3 jobs in the classroom, and she gets money, pretend money for the jobs. And so how are you teaching your girls about money responsibility, how to, handle, are they working, that kind of thing?
So wonderful to meet you, Helen, and great question. My youngest daughter is 9 and going into grade 5 as well. And you know what? It really has started with the basics. So my 16-year-old is working part-time for us, and she has been all through the summer with the basics of labeling, bottling, capping the products, but also the business side of things. To your question, yes, absolutely. We're showing, what does revenue mean? What does capital mean? What does investment mean? And, breaking it down to even, compound interest, or you sold your stuffy for $5. What are you going to do with those $5? So really, because I agree with you, they don't teach you this stuff at school. When I was growing up, I kind of fumbled into the world going, oh my goodness, I have years of catching up to do. I was an adult to, taking my MBA, like I was I had to learn all this stuff that I felt like I was missing out. I'd missed out on all these financial terms and words and, banking and investment, and how do you do all this stuff? So, my husband and I really do instill the business side of sexy, so inventory, how are we going to stock the inventory? How do we keep track of the inventory? How do we know when we're running low on certain products? Our botanicals are sourced from all over the world as far as Morocco. So what do we do if there's no juniper berries in stock at this spot? Can you Google this and find me juniper berries? And then, my youngest Aubrey's like, okay, but what about, like, can we put M&Ms in them? I'm like, well, no, we don't put, you can put them on top, but we don't need M&Ms to make the product. And it's very sweet. But at the same time, they are learning the fundamentals and they are learning the basics because, to Monica's point, I have 2 young daughters. I want them to feel strong, independent, financially independent, not to rely on any man for anything, and to stand on your own 2 feet. And, my youngest is like, a girl can change her mind. Like one day I want to do the lemonade stand. The next day they want to do Bestie Bakeries and do a bakery. So I said, well, how many cookies do you want to bake a day? And all these sort of things. So I absolutely love it. I loved your question. I love what your daughter's doing. I'm 100% behind, women starting their own businesses in the entrepreneurship world, because nowadays we don't just have one job and then that's our job for the next 50 years and then we cash in our pension. That's not how it is anymore. That's how it was when I was a kid and my parents were working. That's not how it is. That's not what 2021 is all about.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joanne, and congratulations. I can't wait to try your products.
Thank you very much.
You make a great point too, because we're finding the more moms we're talking to, women's lives now are really more in acts. You have one period of your life, you're doing one thing, and then you move on to another period and then another. So you really have to be flexible and prepared for that. I just want to note that Leslie beat me to the rest of the triple sexy. So I'm going to have to get online. But it's delicious.
Just
so.
what Helen was
very, very
nice.
Last
little bit.
Yeah, out of the corner of my eye, I said, and now it's like, it's empty. Okay, well, Julie, do you have any questions for Joanne?
Oh, I have so many, but I'll keep it to a minimum. Hi, Joanne. How are you?
Hi. Good. Julie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. So there's a million things I love about this product. Mostly the one that spoke to me the most is you're like, I want to make people feel inclusive, which is so key, right? And I grew up knowing that, my mom would always say, food is love. Well, you can also share this, the drink is love when you get together with your friends. And I think, for me, I turned 50 this year and I just don't process alcohol as well anymore. You can't sleep, you can't stay sharp. We all have new puppies and we're getting up in the middle of the night. We can't be hungover. This is all kind of the stage of life that we're in. But more importantly, I would love for you to speak to how you got over your fear and just jumping in and starting your business, because there are so many women and now that have started small businesses. And I think what holds people back sometimes is the fear. What if I fail? What if I'm not able to do this? What finally kicked it over for you just to maybe not present as much and do?
Well, that's a very, very good question, Julie, and I'm happy to answer it very personally as well. So I've always flip-flopped between the corporate world and the entrepreneur world. So as a kid, I would make jewelry, I'd bake cakes. I was even a clown at one point for kids' birthday parties. I was always, but that was aligned with the corporate world. So I was I was in a situation where I was a single mom in a foreign country, all by myself. What did I do? So I kind of got into the corporate world as a receptionist and worked my way up, but still always had an entrepreneur flair in the background. And fast forward to 2020, last year, I've been dealing with, some personal issues within our family. My husband was in and out of hospital, and COVID happened, and the corporate job that I had, it was the most amazing job, the best job I thought, was absolutely amazing. I lost that. The company went under, and between my husband's mental health and losing my fancy corporate job, I honestly felt that I had nothing else to lose. The fear was gone in me, and I felt it's now or never. I've been working on Sexy for 3.5 years as a little side hustle, evenings, weekends. And for me personally, I was like, world, I have nothing to lose. I'm diving into this head first, and we're off to the races. Coupled with, I love Sarah Blakely. She invented Spanx. I've never met her, but I've read all her books. I listened to all the audio tapes that she'd listened to. I try to find synergies and look up to women, in business like her, just to find that inspiration, and just to, if she can do it, I can do it. Right. And if the fear's gone, if I have nothing else to lose, like, look at me, here I am, world. Here's my idea. It's, I'm going to create the world's best tasting alcohol-free spirits, and I'm going to try to figure out how to do that. Right. So the fear got lost when I realized I had nothing else to lose, when at the end of the day, all I have, which is the most important thing to me, is my family and my family's health.
Right. That's so important. And women want to support women like yourself. I mean, really, when we hear your personal story to that, and you put that, touch on it, because everybody has one, it's so amazing to hear. So thank you for sharing that, because I think it's a huge objection for people when they want to start a business or they have an idea, it's lovely to hear that somebody who just went head first and successful. So I love it. And thank you for clarifying and mentioning the elephant in the room of AF. I can't help but mention, like, okay, yeah.
So the word sexy, sexy stands for strong, euphoric, exceptionally yummy, alcohol-free. So there is a Y behind it, but the AF is a fun play on the word. So and you know what? We're fun. We're not boring AF. I'm not boring.
That's right.
No.
I had to giggle at that. I was like, thank you for clarifying. Am I the only one? So
yeah, totally.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, Joanne, it has been a pleasure to have you today. And where can we find you? And I know that you're on Facebook and Instagram at Sexy Spirits, and you have a website. Where can people order your product and learn more about you?
Absolutely. So yes, all our social media, it's just one handle, Sexy AF Spirits. Our website is sexyafspirits.com. You can order directly. We do ship to the States as well as Canada. And, we really appreciate your support, and hopefully you'll be seeing us more and more in bars and restaurants in your areas coming up in the next few months.
Great. And you can also hashtag, ladies, sober is sexy AF, and hashtag rethink your drink. So This has been great,
I
and
know,
we're
I
looking
really
forward
enjoyed meeting
to
you. What a great
Thirsty
story.
Thursday. Although, unless we can find a bottle, we're going to do it without the triple sexy.
No one is
we need to
surprised
raise
that
the
this is
dog.
me. No one is surprised.
This is why we're happy to have Leslie as today's co-host.
Yeah, there was a specific reason I was on
yes,
this one.
she was. Yes, she's perfect for this. Again, thank you so much, and we also want to thank our sponsor, What's Behind the Game. It's a podcast for interviews athletes to share their stories and their regimens with young aspiring athletes, so that they can train and inspire the next generation of superstars, sports superstars. And you can find them on iTunes and Spotify. I can't believe that this time has just
I know it's
flown by. It
Yeah.
really has. Of course, it's a great way to
You can fly by even.
yeah, we can do all the shows like this.
I'm just gonna have this for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got a half a day.
Well, I got to watch it
now.
now. I got to make sure this doesn't disappear.
Well, I've already
in someone's,
told Joanne.
Yeah, where you've been hiding it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's our
No.
personal
so
secret.
much, so much fun. Anyway, sorry we're now out of time, but we'll be back next time with celebrities and extraordinary moms just like you. We know that your me time is precious and valuable. Thank you so much for spending it with us. Remember our motto: keep laughing, because if you don't laugh sometimes, you might cry. Thanks again. We'll see you next time inside the Moms Club. Oh, shoot.
Tony's probably going to have you do our hashtags. Can you rebuild that
Yeah.